Just off the coast of Tuscany, there is a magical place at the bottom of the sea. These marble statues serve a purpose much greater than it might first appear. In fact, they are the front line of an ecological war zone between illegal fishing trawlers that are destroying the seafloor and one fisherman who stood up to protect the ocean he loves.
Io attaccavo le barche col gommone. Io ho provato col filo spinato e le bombe sott'acqua e lì ho rischiato la vita perché mi volevano ammazzare.
This is the story of how one of our planet's most diverse ecosystems was almost annihilated by corporate greed, and how one man's passion sparked an uprising, showing to the world that sometimes evil can best be defeated by beauty. We sent Cameron from Planet Wild to Talamone, Italy, to join a unique alliance of artists, fishermen, conservationists and Navy divers, fighting to protect a delicate underwater world with the power of art, 250 tons of material and the most ambitious logistical operation in our 1.5-year history. We are Planet Wild. Welcome to Mission 21.
On the coast of Italy, there is no shortage of beauty. The art, the food, the sense of community, it comes at you from every angle and fills your senses. But above all, there's the sea. Here in Talamone, the Mediterranean is at the heart of everything, and it's impossible not to lose yourself when you look out to the horizon. Beneath the waves, there was once a thriving ecosystem, nourished by underwater meadows of the seagrass Posidonia. This keystone species is so important that it was named after Poseidon, god of the sea. And here's why. Posidonia acts as the lungs of the Mediterranean, sucking up huge amounts of CO2, 15 times more than the same area of the Amazon rainforest. And in turn, it provides the sea with vital oxygen. So this rich environment is the perfect habitat, food, and nursery grounds for hundreds of creatures, and some that you wouldn't imagine in your wildest dreams. Scientists believe that Posidonia can live for more than 100,000 years, making it possibly the oldest organism on Earth. But suddenly, in a very short period of time, so much of that beautiful underwater world has vanished. To find out what happened, I'm meeting someone who knows these waters better than anyone. Paolo is a fisherman, and like generations before him, he fishes in a sustainable way, providing for his family and his community, not taking more from the ocean than it can naturally replenish.
Il mestiere da pescatore e la passione del mare mi ha fatto lasciare la scuola. Il pescatore, chi sceglie di fare questo mestiere, è un po' la sentinella del mare, colui che vive a contatto con la natura.
This closeness with the sea allowed Paolo to see what other people couldn't. Something was very wrong beneath the surface. He gradually realized that what he was witnessing was nothing less than the destruction of an entire ecosystem.
And he knew exactly who was to blame. Industrial fisheries have developed an immensely destructive fishing technique designed to maximize the extraction of life from the ocean. It's called bottom trawling. Ships drag weighted nets for kilometers along the seafloor, hoovering up anything and everything that's in their path. And much of that has no commercial value to them. So many of these dead and dying fish, or bycatch, are simply thrown overboard. On the seafloor, trawling leaves behind a desolate wasteland. Those ancient underwater meadows of Posidonia, gone, along with all the habitats, nurseries and food they provided to marine life. And what about those immense amounts of carbon stored? Also gone. It is estimated that bottom trawling releases 370 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year. According to WWF, the Mediterranean is now on the verge of burnout, because what was once an underwater paradise has become the most overfished sea in the world.
Bottom trawling is actually illegal within 3 miles of the coast here, but it's not strictly enforced, and trawlers know that they can get away with it. So Paolo began a decades-long fight and became a vigilante ocean protector, searching the waters for illegal fishing boats and scaring off these dangerous characters with unorthodox methods.
Io attaccavo le barche col gommone, ma ho fermato le imbarcazioni, ho lanciato i razzi quelli di soccorso. Io attaccavo i pescherecci con lampeggiante della polizia. Io ho provato col filo spinato e le bombe sott'acqua e lì ho rischiato la vita perché mi volevano ammazzare.
But it just wasn't working. The boats kept coming, and his activism was becoming dangerous. Paolo needed to find a better way. He knew by now that the only real way to stop them would need to be physical, a heavy barrier underwater that would rip the trawlers' nets and make it impossible to pass through without damage. But he also knew that he had to get the world to pay attention. And so Paolo came up with the most beautiful way of stopping the destruction. And we are going to help him. The plan? Create art to protect the sea. We're commissioning huge marble sculptures to sink through the ocean floor and create an underwater museum that both sea creatures and humans will enjoy, attracting public attention to the issue and keeping trawlers away. A dedicated team is assembled around Paolo's inspiring idea in order to make it a reality. And the first step in this plan takes us to the origin of some of Italy's most beloved Renaissance artwork. This is Carrara, home to the marble that even produced Michelangelo's David. This stone formed over hundreds of millions of years from marine organisms that once swam in a prehistoric ocean, and now they're making their journey back to the sea. The marble itself was actually donated by the quarry, showing just how much support Paolo's vision has gathered in the region. So now we transport 5 blocks down the coast from Carrara to Talamone. This is a mammoth effort, with each of these blocks weighing up to 20 tons, and leads us to step 2. And this is where Casa dei Pesci comes in. It means House of the Fish, and it's the organization that evolved out of Paolo's initiative. Together, we set up a 4-week workshop and invited artists from around the world to create 5 massive marble sculptures. And the Planet Wild community contributed over 20,000 euros to make it all happen. And once all the statues are finished, they're ready for the final and most spectacular part of this endeavor, step 3. And today is the day. Everything has been precisely planned and has to come off perfectly. We even have a team of Navy divers to assist the operation from the water. But we can already see that the plan is working, because the BBC and other international media are here to tell the story, raising global awareness of the urgent situation. Now we can only hope that everything goes smoothly. If it does, these sculptures will be sunk one by one to the sea floor. Okay, everything is ready, everything is in position. Now all we need to do is sink them. Our sculptures are in position, and now we get to be the first divers to explore the new wing of the museum. This place is truly magical, like nowhere else I've ever been. Not only does it have this otherworldly feeling about it, but it actually works to protect the timeless beauty of nature. Our new additions are still kind of fresh, but over time they'll start to integrate with the marine life, and that life will merge with the artwork that protects it.
We could have stopped here, but we didn't. Instead, we went much, much further. The statues are guarding Poseidonia close to the shore, but we also need physical barriers further offshore for a large and effective protected area. That's why we're deploying our biggest community funding yet, another 60,000 euros to install 40 concrete blocks at up to 2 kilometers off the coastline and significantly extend the larger safe zone that has been put up here by Casa dei Pesci over the past 12 years. Paolo has seen firsthand how effective these barriers are. Wherever they have been put up before, the boats have stopped coming. What's more, these concrete blocks are specially designed with holes that provide ideal homes for the diverse creatures that have lost their habitat to the trawlers.
Oggi ci sono qui insieme a voi che combattiamo. Ma cosa accade di là? Cosa accade di là? Dov'è la sensibilità? Dov'è il rispetto per la natura? Scusate, mi sono commosso. Questo messaggio è un messaggio che va trasmesso a tutti, perché non vorrei salvare solo questa parte. vorrei salvare tutto il mondo. Lo so, sarà difficile, però da qui siamo partiti, è un esempio.
Dostoevsky once said in one of his more hopeful notes that beauty will save the world. And while here in Talamone we still need to rely on physical barriers as well, there's certainly that aspect of how the beauty of art is able to elevate us beyond just self-interest and make us aware of a larger beauty even, that is life itself, and that we all need to protect wherever we see it threatened. If you want to protect the beauty of our natural world, consider joining Planet Wild as a backer. We do one of these missions every month and it's all community funded. There's a link in the description and a QR code over here. And you could even ask your employer to pay for it, because we're offering a team membership as well. So if you think your boss would love that, or if you are the boss yourself, click the second link in the description below and help us make this world a little wilder.